Hi, and welcome to another episode of Being Surreal. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about something which a lot of people confuse a lot, and this is about context and literally meaning everything. So, like when I give advice to people, or anyone give advice to people, the thing is that sometimes people take it too literally. That is that they think that what I said was the actual meaning of what I wanted to say, but that is not always true. Just because I gave an advice, I can't give another advice which is contradicting to the previous advice, but that is not true, because there are things which are contradictory, because all the things are not governed in one same way. Sometimes you have to change your strategy and change your things so that you can get the best out of life. Like for example, I'll tell you about this contradicting proverbs. So there are proverbs, like everyone loves proverbs, at least I do. So I love proverbs, and there are these things called contrary proverbs or contradicting proverbs. So what happens is that one proverb contradicts another proverb. For example, I'll just give two examples. Okay, so the first one is all good things come to those who wait, but contradicting to this is time and tide wait for none. Second one is doubt is the beginning of wisdom, and the contradicting to this is faith will move the mountains. Like, see, these proverbs are actually contradicting to the previous, to the first part of the proverb. See, like good things come to those who wait. In this, it just tells you to be patient, because when you are patient, good things come to you. If you are always in hurry, then you would be hard time living the life. And in the second one, it's like time and tide wait for none. But see, the context here is different. Okay, so just because these proverbs exist doesn't mean that all the things are going to be the same way. They can be a bit different too. So like for example, let's say you gave an exam, okay, and now you are waiting for result, but now you just can't wait for it and you are just too restless. In that case, this the first proverb comes in handy, that is good things come to those who wait. It just tells you to be patient. This proverb can also be used in cases when you are doing something for very long time, like you are doing that thing continuously, but you can't see any results. So it just tells you to be patient and don't lose hope, because good things will come. And the second, the time and tide wait for none part is there to tell you that don't waste your life, like don't waste your time. You have to do things, because time will just pass away. If you just waste it, you will get wasted in the future too. So this is how things work. Just because someone said something or gave an advice doesn't mean that the same advice will always be applicable at every time, and everyone needs to understand that. And this same things works for these social media influencers or guide. Like there are tons of life coach online who tell you what to do, what to not to do, wake up at this time, sleep at this time, do this, do that, do this thing very specifically in this manner, and blah blah blah, so much things. But I believe that whatever they tell you, like even the books that tell you, they are not hard concrete rules. Okay, they are basically guidelines for you, and you can just tweak them a little bit so that they work for you. You need to optimize them. So let's say like for example, the proverb early to bed early to rise make person healthy, wealthy and wise. So for this, it means that it doesn't mean that early means you get up at like 3 a.m., because from someone's perspective who wakes up at 4, early 3 a.m. is early for them. But will it be actually helpful for you if you wake up at 12 noon and then you just suddenly start waking up at 3? I don't think it would be actually helpful for you, because even if you get up at 3, you will spend a very significant time being tired and sleepy. So you have to optimize them according to you so that you can get the best out of it. Another thing I want to talk about is the context. So context is something very important, like especially in today's world where cancel culture is on rise. Context is very important. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Before that, I'll just tell you what context means. Context means the situation in which something happens or that caused something to happen. And second is the words that come before or after a word, phrase or sentence that help you understand its meaning. A good example is me saying that sun rises in east and sets in west. Okay, so from a science perspective, I am actually wrong because sun doesn't rise or sets. It's earth who revolves around the sun and rotates on its axis, causing day and night. But if I'm telling this to like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, basically a small kid, in that context, I'm actually right, because that guy who is just 7-year-old doesn't really know how earth and stuff work. For him, saying sun rises east and sets in west is the right thing. If he goes on and writes something else, like whatever I said, that sun doesn't rise, blah blah, that sun doesn't rise or sets, it's just earth revolving and rotating on its axis. If he goes and says that in an exam, he would be failed. So context actually matters. But if I'm talking to a physicist, I will surely say that it doesn't set or rise, it's just revolving and rotating around its axis. So context is very important. A lot of time what happens is that you see a video which is a very small part, okay, and you see that they are saying something very absurd or maybe something that shouldn't be said. They say that and then people are outraging over it. So this is actually very common and it is used these days a lot, especially in politics. So this happens, but the thing is, context actually matters. Let's say I said something and it is offensive, and you only saw the offensive part of the video, then you would think like, damn, this guy is bad, he's saying offensive things. But in the whole video, when I was actually talking about that, I was actually quoting that offensive thing of the what person said, the person whom I quoting said, and then I give my point of view on that in the whole video. So if you look at the whole video, I might not be wrong because I'm giving my own point of view and I'm just quoting the offensive part. It's not me who said that. But just because you saw the offensive part and you didn't have the whole context, you will think that I said the offensive thing. And this is very common, and especially when people get triggered easily, this is very dangerous if you ask me, because people get very angry if the other person doesn't agrees with them, or their thinking is somewhat offensive to them, and they get very angry and triggered about it. Sometimes you just have to patiently look and ask, is this the whole thing? What is the context? So context is very important, and if you see something, a video or something, or someone telling you something, just make sure you ask about context. And coming back to the advices part, I'll just give more advice because I love giving advices. So about advices is that first of all, not each and every advice that someone gives, like unless the person is giving specifically to you, unless that, all the advices out there are not for you. Like there are some advices that will work for you, and there are some advices that won't work for you, and they are not for you. So you have to see which advices will work for you. You read books, you get advices from them, you see if they are going to work for you, then you make sure you understand them properly, and then use that advice as your guideline, and then optimize it according to yourself, so that it works out for you. Like if I gave advice about doubt is the beginning of wisdom. So in this I mean to say that if you are someone who blandly agrees with everything the other person say, then you are too naive and you need to become more wise. And once you start doubting, doubt doesn't really mean that you are thinking that no, this person is absolutely wrong. Doubt can only be that something, like for example, let's take us like you and I. Okay, so I said something and you are blatantly agreeing with everything and you don't have any question or anything, then it is not very good thing. But once you start thinking that, you start getting questions if what I'm saying is right, or what do I exactly mean by this phrase or these kind of thing. So then you ask me those, then it's said that you are becoming more wise and you are on path of being wise, because now you are also taking the part of your consciousness too. So you think of your own questions and you start looking at things according to your point of view more than you see from other point of view, and that is the beginning of wisdom. And the contradicting part too is faith will move the mountains, and it's just that you need to trust the other person. If you don't trust them, then it's bad, and if you trust them enough, it will even move mountains, and mountains are very hard to move. So this is how things work. So that is what I wanted to say in this whole episode. And if you are looking for advices, follow this advice and start reading books. Like I really encourage people to start reading books. It's very helpful. You can start from fiction if that is what feels good to you. Then you can move to another genres. Like Naval once said that read what you love until you love reading. So you can do that. And if you are someone who likes to read book but doesn't have enough time and they can't manage their time, you can sign up for my book club. I'll give the link in the description, or you can just go to bookabetterme.substack.com and you'll find that there would be 2 books which I have already given the summary to. So I read a book every month and I just summarize it in short so that you can easily read it and know everything you need to learn. So I last read Atomic Habits and there was very good advices, and I am actually going to modify them so that I can use them for my benefit and I will optimize them. So with that, I'll end today's episode. Thank you.